Hi, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our poster, missing what is right in front of our eyes. This is a poster about looked but failed to see errors. Those are the kind of errors that you make where a driver might say that he looked in the intersection but somehow didn't see the car that he ran into. Um, it's a little difficult to do this research with cars crashing into other cars, so let's talk about searching for T's among L's. If you have observers looking for a T in a display like this, they can do that task pretty easily. These are 2's spaced out by about T's and L's spaced out by about 2 degrees. If you measure the amount of time it takes them to find the target, that will produce a reaction time by set size function with a slope of about 20 milliseconds an item on target present and about twice that on target absent. But of interest to us here is that observers will miss about 10% of these targets. These targets are clearly visible. Why are they missing them? So we tracked the eyes of observers while they did a task of this sort. And here what you're looking at is a 2-dimensional histogram of where saccades came from. If you look on the right, you've got saccades coming from various spots going to the target. The hot spots here are really just the next target over, so about 2 degrees away. And you can see that there's a distribution of saccade starting points around the target. On the left, you have a similar distribution of saccades. These are the ones that don't go to a target when the subject is just searching around. And again, the hot spots are just the next L over. The observer is making lots of saccades from just 2 degrees away. So if you're fixated at one particular point, say that red dot, there is a useful field of view or a functional visual field, the terms are roughly equivalent, around that spot. And if the target is, say, just 2 degrees away in the next spot, it's well within that functional field. That means, among other things, that if I cued that location, you'd have no trouble recognizing a T in that location. So if you're fixated at the red dot, what's the chance that the next fixation is going to go to the target? Here's the answer. This is probably the most important picture in the poster. If you're fixated on that at one point, and we plot the chance that your saccade is going to go to the target as a function of the distance of fixation to the target, you'll see that you're more likely to go to the target if you're starting near to the target. But even if you're just 2 degrees away, the probability that you will go to the target is only about 0.5. It's strikingly low. Here's a similar data set from a completely different task where radiologists are looking at mammograms. Same data, basically. The important take-home message from this is that having a target, or a gorilla for that matter, inside a functional visual field does not guarantee that you're going to find that target. And we can say a little bit about what might be happening in this case. If you're fixated at that red spot, you've got 200 or 300 milliseconds of dwell time to covertly attend and find the target. If you stumble around and happen to land on that target, great, you're likely to saccade to the target next. But if you stumble around and don't happen to land on the target, you're going to go off and fixate elsewhere, thinking you have looked at that location, but you have in that case looked but not seen the target. You can make a similar limited capacity parallel story about processing everything in the field as Hulleman and Olivers might do, but the point is the same. If you're fixated at one point, you do not necessarily see the target. One last bit of data. Here what we're showing is our 2 histograms in red and green of where the saccades came from, either in red when you landed on the target or green when this next saccade did not go to the target. And you can see that you're more likely to go to the target if it's to the left or to the right of the fixation in this case. That's not an underlying bias in the visual system. If you look at the right-hand graph, there's the similar data from mammography showing, again, a bias in where the saccades are coming from, but nothing like that left-right bias. We think these biases may have a relationship to errors, but we're not sure yet. The important point is that this is just one of the ways that you can look but not see. And if you've got questions, please feel free to drop me an email.